Hello there everybody and welcome to another collaboration video where I have brought over the GWVIllager in exchange for free entry into England and Wales, or Scotland, I don't know. But basically I had the idea of we should basically go over some of our favourite and least favourite train and bus liveries.
Indeed, yes. There are many train and bus liveries in Britain, certainly in British history. I mean, I've just got the map from bustimes.org open, and it is astounding. I really wonder what it would look like if you were to take another country and just see everything in the same colour, like in Belgium or whatever. But we've got a lot to choose from. There's a lot of good and a lot of bad, so it should be quite interesting.
Certainly. Now, we do have some ground rules. We are going to be excluding trams, and we're keeping it to liveries in the United Kingdom, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales and Scotland. So any liveries from there are fair game, but anything out of there isn't being included in this list. Also, we're going to have a cut-off period. We're going to focus mainly on liveries that were introduced from 2000s onwards, but if a livery was introduced later, like in the 90s, but is still being used actively today, then it'll be allowed in this list.
Yeah, I mean, we're generally going 21st century liveries. Obviously, some of them will be a little older, but if it was prominent from 2000 onwards, that's kind of fine.
Correct. Also, the livery must be used on a vehicle that is open to the public. You use open doors, the open door services. This is just to prevent us from like picking Dave down the road with his pink Enviro 400, you know, stuff like that.
Just choosing a car, you know.
Yeah, or a car, basically. And other than that, we're going to, we've chosen 5 of our best liveries, of our favourite liveries, and 5 of our least favourite liveries for both UK trains and UK buses.
Yes, we're starting with buses. So?
Yeah, we're going to start with buses just so people who are more interested in trains can't have to skip through the video, or whatever. Okay, so we're going to start with my one, just to get the ball rolling. So, okay, so for my first pick of number 5, I'm going to go with a rather interesting choice, which is First Olympia.
What?
Yes! Now,
oh, okay.
Now, it does sound interesting for this being at 5 of my favourites, because I have actually spoken to GWVIllager in the past and said I prefer Barbie, the Barbie first livery, especially on buses.
I was expecting to see Barbie here.
Yeah, I was expecting Barbie, but then the more I looked at liveries where this livery was applied to the other vehicles, Olympia started to grow on me more. I think I mean, I do like the Barbie livery still, but one aspect I think you brought up was that Olympia looks more mature, I'd say. Maybe mature or more suitable for today.
More subdued.
Subdued, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you very much. Subdued, and honestly, I completely agree. It's got the nice shades of lilac and purple. There's a little hint of pink with the lines. It's nothing too over the top, and nice straight angles. Very nice, honestly. And I'm not even a massive fan of lilac in general, but honestly, I think this livery just looks really great, and it suits it well for most of First's fleet that I can think of.
Well, yeah, fair enough. I think we might have a few disagreements later on. I'm a little worried now, but
oh dear.
Yeah, each their own. I'm not a massive fan of Olympia. I'll explain why later, but
that's fine.
Yeah, that seems a reasonable choice.
Okay then. Yes, please introduce us your number 5 favourite bus livery.
Right. Lothian.
Ooh.
The Mandarin Cream, I think, works really well. They update their livery every few years, but don't radically change it. It always suits the lines of the vehicle, and they specify their buses really well. So everything looks good and cohesive. And it's a wonderful colour selection. It's traditional, but also modern, and they've kept it going for 100 years. So, well, I mean, they had Harlequin for a bit in the 2000s, but it's a good livery, and it's hard to improve on, I think.
Okay, I'm really annoyed. I completely forgot about Lothian. I completely forgot about it, but that's actually a really, really good choice. And yeah, now that you're describing it here, that livery looks fantastic, and it's only number 5?
Yeah, well,
Wow.
I don't know.
I should also say one thing, just whilst I just remember now. The fleet or the vehicles that the livery is applied on won't automatically make it bad. So I want to say like or good or bad. Like I'm trying to say, if the company has street lights and it's applied to that doesn't mean it's a bad livery. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But regardless, I don't have anything against. I'm going to take a stab at a guess. That's a street deck. If I'm wrong, someone else tell me.
I think that's a B5LH.
Oh, for goodness sake. I see the design.
I'll just look it up, I'm not sure actually.
Someone will tell us. I can't be bothered to check now. Okay, so my number 4 is National Express West Midlands, the slightly older one.
Oh, wow, okay.
Now, first of all, I just want to say that the picture I'm using here, this vehicle is still in use today. I did double check. Even though it's got a Y reg, just... if it ain't, yeah, I'm not kidding. This is one of the oldest ALX 400s still in use because.
Well, it's going to be one of the oldest buses still in use.
Probably, yeah. It's just, why replace? Why replace when work? Very caveman-esque.
I'll have to go and find that.
Yeah, well, the only problem is with that one is that it runs in Sutton Coldfield and Walsall.
Ooh, okay, maybe not.
Yeah, that's the sacrifices must be made, and I'm surprised the wheels are still on and haven't been nicked. I'm really shocked.
They probably have been. They just replaced them.
But honestly, well, National Express West Midlands have had plenty of liveries over the years, but this one I think has, I think this one works well because it sort of combines the newer one with when it's more red, but it also combines the older version, the older sort of, I forgot the name of like the older Birmingham City bus livery. I forgot the name of it, but it's got that. Hints of that with a small faint red stripe and the red colouring. Oh, I mean blue stripe, sorry. Yeah. With that. So it's got some nice little heritage to it, but it's also a nice, smart looking livery. And honestly, if there's National Express, there's one thing that National Express can do, it's design good looking liveries.
That is true, yeah. I mean, I think in principle this is a livery I don't like. But looking at it, it just works somehow. I'm not quite sure how, but it works. I like that. I do like that.
Indeed.
Still, I wouldn't like to see it rolled out again. I think it looks of its time.
Oh no, yeah, I can agree with it. I mean, the newer version, which, for the sake of fairness, I'll share, this is what the newer, not newest, but newer version of the livery looks like, applied to the same bus. So it's a little bit more bland, but it's a little bit, but it only has 2 colours, so...
I think that's definitely worse than the old one.
Well, I just thought I'd share it for the sake of fairness.
Yeah, for the sake of comparison. Okay.
Indeed. So, your number 4, please.
Right, my number 4 might be a surprising one.
Okay.
The first bus, Pride livery.
Oh, no. Well, no, go ahead.
Now, Pride liveries, they're either really good or really bad.
Mm-hmm.
They can be absolutely terrible, and in fact, we'll find a rubbish one later on. But this one, I think, is done very well. It's a really nice colour. It looks stylish. It's clean, and they work this sort of the rainbow stripe depending on the colours of the vehicle. It's sophisticated. It's simple, but does the job and doesn't look obnoxious.
I will at least say it's the least worst. I call them Game Boy liveries. Just out of entertainment purposes, but it's probably the least worst I've seen. But the bar for these liveries is just so low because they're easy. They're very easy to do, so the bar of them is very low. I have seen plenty of worse, but I don't think I've seen any of them that are, for lack of a better way of wording, better. So I'll accept this with extreme prejudice. But, that's just me because I'm a very regarding this, because to me, don't tell me you like the gays when you can't even run a bus service properly. That's my mindset.
Well, I mean, yeah, tell that first. They are pretty atrocious at running buses, but they do like their special liveries. So,
alright, that's fine. I mean, in this case. So, yeah, was there anything else you wanted to add, or is it just, does it work on that? Oh yeah, actually, no, there was one thing I just noticed. I think that livery probably would have worked a little bit better if they moved the stripe a little bit. Because where the staircase is.
Yeah, I mean, they could have had it over the staircase, I agree. I think that would actually have made it.
Why didn't they do that?
I don't know. I didn't design the livery, yeah.
Fair enough, that's fine. But, you know, I think that would have worked a little bit better. Just, you know, constructive criticism first. It's all for you.
Also, I don't quite know why they've covered the top deck windows, but not the lower deck ones.
Well, we're spotting more and more inconsistencies the longer we look at this image.
I mean, maybe we should get this off the list. I don't know, but
No,
I
keep-
think it looks fine. I think it looks fine.
Yeah, we can keep it. I'm not going to force you to change your option. This is not North Korea yet. So, number 3, my option for number 3 is going to be from another big company, and it's also going to be another sort of common livery. And I do apologise if you do disagree with this, but it's going to be a Reva Cotswold Stone.
Oh no.
Oh no! I love your reaction there. I have a very simple reason. Well, ignoring the fact that I do like blue and turquoise as a colour, I do like that. But ignore that. My reasoning for this livery is that I haven't found a single bus in a Reva's fleet where this livery doesn't work on. That's my mindset. And also, if you were to put this livery in a distance, I can recognise it. It's very recognisable, and which is important for a brand. Like, if you were to squint, I can still go, oh, that's an Arriva bus. So it passes that test, and the colours look nice. I do love the little hint of yellow. It's just a small little, it's like lip gloss. It's like a little bit lip gloss. Nothing ruining it. If you want to say anything, go ahead now, because I feel like I can't really defend myself anymore. I'm going into slammer now, aren't I?
Okay, it's the best of Arriva's liveries, but that's an unbelievably low bar. I mean, I think
I can agree on that. Okay.
It's not too bad. It kind of works on buses, but it's drab, it looks dated, and whilst it doesn't not work on anything, it doesn't work particularly well on anything, if you see what I mean.
I see that. I can see what you mean by that, honestly, yeah.
It's not that bad, but certainly not in my top 5. But, you know,
yeah.
Looking at that, it does actually work reasonably well. I agree, I like the yellow stripe. It looks a little bit like the Night Star livery if you get rid of the front.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean by that. I think my reasoning for putting this on the list is that I'm not a big fan of the newer Arriva livery, because I
hate that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, stuff that livery. Get it in the bin. But the slightly older version of the Cotswold Stone, I think, where more of the bus was white at the front. I'll place a picture up on the screen. I can't find one on my list right now.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But I don't know if I could really love that livery as much as this one. And,
I really like the dark blue skirt.
Yeah, I think that really makes it, brings the livery up a bit. If it didn't have the skirt, I don't think I'd put it on the list. Your third list, please. Your third, number 3, please.
Right, it is. Well, I should preface this by saying that pretty much any Transit Blazefield livery would go on this list. But number 3, Harrogate Electrics.
Ooh,
it's a lovely two-tone red. They think about the windows. They don't cover the window. It's cleverly adorned. They've got good branding. They're showing off that they've won their awards and so on. They're showing off that it's electric. It makes you want to ride it. You look at that and think, I want to go on that bus.
That I do.
Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic branding, suits the lines of the vehicles, and sends out a really positive message about what buses should be, and great colours.
Indeed, red is a great colour, and I really, really like that. It's only got 2 shades of red, but I think they've utilised those shades really well.
Yeah, they're just slightly different. They complement each other really well.
Indeed. In fact, I only have one issue, which is that the bus is single door. Because it's so annoying. If this bus was in Belgium, and I know they've got versions of this bus in Belgium, they would have 2 or 3 doors. Or if you're in Charleroi, we have 4 doors, but they'll find a way.
4.
Okay, it will be a bendy bus with 4 doors, not...
Yeah.
Well, okay, you say that, GWVIllager, there is a bus in the Czech Republic that is just an integral bus body like that, not a bendy bus, not articulated, but with 4 doors.
I think that's a too high door to body ratio. I think 2 is enough. Yeah, I mean, it does slightly annoy me, but I didn't grow up in London. I don't live in London. I've never lived in London.
You're not missing too much out.
I'm just used to one doors. One door, rather. I think it's fine.
Yeah, for the interest of fairness, I will just quickly share the image to you. I might put it up on the screen.
That's basically a tram.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, that rear overhang, oh my word.
Well, you know, the roads are a bit wider there, so...
They are, yeah. Okay.
So, my number 2. Again, another sort of interesting choice, maybe. But, I'm a sucker for this livery, I'm sorry. It's Stagecoach Gold.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I completely agree. Now, I'm going to reveal this now. That is also my second choice.
Oh, I was not aware of that, because we didn't reveal it. We hand on heart,
No.
neither of us know what our options are. But
Yeah,
you're...
we were reacting to this in real time.
Yeah, this is completely... Okay, so you picked Okay, so both of our number 2 is Stagecoach Gold. Okay, so I'll explain why I like it. Gold, good colour. Caveman language. Gold, good colour. Blue, complement gold. Well, and it looks premium.
Yes, it does.
So what about you?
Yeah, I'll post the best image of a Stagecoach Gold bus that I have taken, which is rubbish. It's debranded. But,
Of
yeah,
course.
I agree. It looks very premium. Stagecoach really pioneered, ironically, that sort of a premium level of design with Stagecoach Gold. It sells the bus well. Again, like the Harrogate Electrics one, you want to ride that bus. It looks attractive, looks stylish, it looks like something you'd choose to ride on. And as you say, the colours complement each other really well, and it's such a shame the livery's going, because it is really nice.
Oh, they're getting rid of Stagecoach Gold.
Yeah, they're a part of their new livery, you know.
Oh, fiddlesticks. Oh.
Being replaced with the yellow interurban livery.
Oh.
Seen that?
The one that's not like applied to that coach.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh, my gold! You can't remove the gold from Stagecoach Gold. That's so... I mean, yes, there is the gold there, but it doesn't feel...
It's not the same.
Nah, it doesn't feel as right.
Doesn't feel premium. No.
No, it just feels like, honestly, it looks like a school bus. That's my first thing that comes to my mind.
It does, yeah.
I will say, my favourite thing about Stagecoach Gold was the some of the buses that were applied with it. Obviously, most of them were just Enviro 400s, some Enviro 300 if you're lucky, but my favourite by far, which I think they've repainted all of them now, was the Optare Solo Stagecoach Gold.
Oh my word.
That was funny. I don't care.
That is, I dare say, cursed.
It is cursed, but it's hilarious because they even retrofitted the interior with the seats as well.
Big seats, yeah. Oh, well, that's another good thing about Stagecoach Gold. The interiors were immaculate.
Yeah. Although we're not factoring in interiors so much in these liveries.
We're not.
But we can bring it up.
As an aside, they look
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Definitely. They actually, I think some of them were in South Wales. They had some Optare Solos in Stagecoach Gold in South Wales, but I think they're all
I don't know if
repainted.
they did. They did have a few Enviro 200s. In fact, they still do.
Oh,
MMCs.
goodness.
They were really nice.
Yeah, I definitely know that because there was I have well, I didn't take it myself, but I got a photo of. I found a photo of one here, which I might put up on screen in somewhere.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so there you go.
That looks better. A Solo SR does look more understandable.
Yeah, yeah, I'll accept the Solo SR. The original Solo, that's just, you know, lols.
Yeah,
Instant
that's
lols.
just no.
Yeah, okay. Well, in that aspect, then, I think I'm going to have to jump into my number 1 then. And if we pick the same one again, I think... Well, I'm going to... Well, there's some
I
hacking
don't
going
think we
on.
will.
Nah, I don't think so. My number 1 for my favourite livery, and it might seem a bit odd considering how much I've made fun of this colour in my previous videos. It's the original Green Line livery.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, first of all, I think Green Line as a brand is fantastic.
Yeah,
Just in general.
absolutely.
Very fantastic brand. Sadly, there's only a few Green Line routes at the moment, and, well, we're going to talk about them a little bit later. But, not spoilers or anything. When you have a name like Green Line, you have different shades of green. and you have line. Again, very caveman way of describing liveries, I know. But I think those liveries, those colours complement each other really well. And I think also what I really like about it is that they didn't go over the top. Because they could have put like 70 shades of green or something. They could have put even more green everywhere. They could have made the whole bus in an unlikable green. But they picked a handful of suitable greens to go with this livery. Make it look smart. Make it look like it's fast. There you go, green line.
Yeah, it's good. I really like the new green line livery too. I've never seen this old one actually, but yeah, it does look good.
Okay.
Perhaps a little old, but good, yeah.
Yeah, I can agree. I can agree at least like that. I think this one's a slightly... No, it's not a slightly newer variant. I'm talking out of my arse here. Well, but that one works well, I'd say. So what's your number one then?
My number one, we're back to Transdev, and it is the Which Way.
Oh, yes, that one. You were telling me about that one as well.
Yes. So this is, I think, one of the most spectacular pieces of branding ever conducted on Britain's bus network. The Which Way is a remarkable brand, and it has much more to do with just delivery. You know, they've got fantastic paper timetables, they've got brilliant bus stations, and apart from in Manchester, which is really annoying, they just use a bus stop. It's appalling, but you know, Transdev don't have any control over that. And the interiors are like nothing else. But the livery itself does play a big part. Very stylish, simple, but striking. When you see that from the street, it catches your eye. It sells itself very well. Which Way? Name of the route, of course. Burnley, Manchester fast. What more could you want?
Oh yeah, there's a good way of wording it. Honestly, I think that livery... Well, now that you sit down and explain it to me, I'm liking it a little bit more now. Because when you first showed it to me, I thought, well, it looks very, very flashbangy to me. But that was its whole point, really.
That's the point, yeah. It's supposed to get your attention. It's supposed to look exciting. And considering where it's going, it's supposed to be taking people from, let's be honest, quite run-down, depressing northern towns to a very exciting big city. And that bus is the perfect place. The perfect thing to attract you to go there. And particularly at night, it has, you can just about see it like LED strips above the windows, and they light up in orange, and it does look really good.
Very nice. Out of curiosity, not that I know exactly sod all about this bus route, does it use busways?
No. It uses bus lanes out of Manchester to Prestwich, which is a sort of, not suburb, but like a borough.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a borough, but it's like an
I know what you mean by that, though.
And then it joins the motorway and runs on the motorways
up
to Rottenstall and then carries on to Burnley.
Fair enough then. Well, that looks pretty... It was a pretty good livery, and I think it's growing on me a little bit more than it did when you first shared it with me. Okay then, so that's great. So now that we've gone over our top 5 favourite bus liveries, let's get on to our least favourite bus liveries.
Oh yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Indeed. So for my worst number 5, going to be an interesting choice, but I have an explanation as to why. Because whilst livery itself isn't that offensive, the reasoning and the the context makes it worse for me. So it's the new Brighton and Hove livery.
Okay.
So again, as a livery, it doesn't seem that bad. And honestly, if a new company started up with a livery looking like that, wouldn't bat an eyelid. I don't have an issue with that. I do have an issue with this replacing the original Brighton and Hove livery.
That's the cream and red one, isn't it?
It's cream and red, yeah. The original Brighton and Hove was perfectly acceptable. It was perfectly fine. It was, and it was cream and red for quite a while. Like more than I think you can get away with 20. You can get away with saying 20 years, for the purpose of discussion. 20, 30 years.
Possibly more than that.
Yeah, someone's probably going to go, actually it was introduced in... I don't care, whatever. I don't care, sod off. But the point is, how do you go from the original to that? There's no, I can't think of any reason as to why you'd go, right, these iconic colours, remove them. Get rid of it. We need to replace it with blue. Why?
Is this genuinely the new livery?
Hand on my heart, this is the new livery. It's being rolled out progressively on their buses. It was just that this one was the first one I've seen and have a photo of.
That is utterly ridiculous if that's the case. Like, why on earth would you do that? Because you're wasting all your branding. The thing is, you can update your livery, that's fine, of course, but keep the two main colours. That way, all your promotional material, all your bus stops, as you can see in that photo, everything won't suddenly look out of date.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Brian & Hove did give a reason as to why they changed this livery on their website. It's just very, nothing, honestly.
Yeah, Brighton & Hove is a remarkable company. They have, I mean, particularly as a result of Roger French, who was a fantastic director. I think it was MD or Emergency, it doesn't matter. He was running the company.
Yeah.
And they now have the highest, by quite some way, the highest bus usage per capita of anywhere outside of London.
Really? I didn't know that.
That's very impressive. Very impressive. Clearly, what they've been doing already works. Now, obviously, you need to update your brand, you need to keep it modern, and you need to keep on innovating so people use your buses still. But don't just undo 30, 40 years of history by getting rid of the iconic and good-looking livery and replace it with something completely different that looks like you're starting afresh.
Exactly.
And indeed, yeah. There'll be 2 or 3 years where there'll just be multiple different colours going around Brighton. It'll be a mess.
I know. Another thing which I'm really annoyed of is that how they say that, they're trying to, showing how they're improving Brighton & Hove overall. And they want to sort of showcase this. Yet they got rid of the bendy buses and replaced them with Gemini 2s on the 25 bus route, one of the most demanding bus routes outside of London. And they've effectively reduced the capacity on it, making it unrideable.
Yeah. It's really annoying. It is really annoying.
Also, one very brief addendum quickly. The Live and Breathe livery was applied to their Enviro 400 ERs, which are... I'll show you a picture of it. And if you don't know what an Enviro 400 ER is, it's basically Top Gear Jeff, but real.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding. The engine doesn't really provide... The engine is just there to top up the motors.
Yeah.
So it is like
so
Jeff.
It's an electric bus, but with a charging.
Range extended, basically.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think that is quite a nice livery.
Yeah, but it works better because you've got the skyline of Brighton, including the pier. That works so much better.
It's busy, it's exciting. Well, not exciting is probably the wrong word, but it's vibrant and interesting.
Definitely.
The new corporate livery is dull. Like, that could be anywhere in the country.
Exactly. So, that was my number 5. Go ahead with your number 5, please.
Right, my number 5 is First Olympia.
Oh. Well, fair enough. Honestly, you explain why you don't like First Olympia, because I think you've got plenty. You've got more than enough room to talk about it, because you're more of a. I'm guessing you use First way more than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I used to use First on a daily basis. I don't anymore now.
Oh, of course.
But
fair
I'm
enough.
still reasonably familiar with it.
Fair enough then.
The thing with First Olympia is, yes, as we were discussing before, it's subdued, but I think in this case it's bad. It's trying to be busy and complicated and modern, but doesn't put any of the energy into it, if you see what I mean.
Oh.
There are sort of 2 schools of thought. You could go with something quite flowing, quite smooth, but complex, or you could go with something dynamic and modern. Now, a dynamic and modern livery can be complex, but if you do that, you've got to go for it. You've got to give it the energy. And I think the City Lines livery, you can kind of see it in the bus behind, where the idea hasn't really shown that there is a section to the front that has like loads of names of the places it serves, and it works really well. Mm-hmm. The First Olympia livery tries to go for busy, tries to go for modern, and tries to go for complex, but it doesn't put any energy in because the colours are far too dull. It looks like it's trying to play into different schools of thought and fails at all of them, and it's a pretty miserable livery. It's depressing.
Oh, I'm sorry you find it depressing. I can't exactly fault you though, because that's all perfectly legitimate criticism. Honestly.
Yeah, I didn't word that too well.
No, I understand what you mean though. I do understand what you're trying to get at there. It's tried to do too many things.
Yeah, if I were to put it in writing, I would. But I,
That's fine. Let's jump into my number 4. A very interesting choice, I'd say. But, well, actually, no, it's not even that. But it's one of those, it's sort of similar to number 5 where I need to explain myself since there's a bit of a reason behind it. It's London Red.
What?
Wait! Exactly. No. You need to wait on this, because this is a situation where the livery is perfectly fine. But I want you to turn the clock back about 10-15 years. So, when in London, obviously the red bus rolls supreme, okay? Like, that's a sort of, everybody knows what the London red bus is. However, in the past, if you were just to go back like a decade or so, your London bus would look a little bit different. It would still be mostly red, but there was like an 85% requirement for red, which means you could have small little strips to show which, the different liveries. Very small, but I think they complemented the red quite well. So, one example that I have is London General, London Central. In this example here, you have that little bit of strip. You just have those two little extra colours here that don't destroy the entire livery, if you ask me. It doesn't destroy it, it still has the red. I mean, if somebody says, what colour is that bus, they'll say red. They're still going to say that. And I think it helped it helped identify the operators a little bit more, which I guess you say, well, why do you need to do that? But I just preferred it like that, honestly. I preferred it. But with all the buses being red, it feels a little bit too, what's the word I'm looking for here? yeah, a bit too, it's just, yeah, like that, same. Everything just feels way too the same. There's no variety. And it feels very bland, honestly. Just blank, like just clicking the paint bucket tool in MS Paint and going, there, new livery. Again, it's harmless. Honestly, it's harmless as a colour. Like, I'm not foaming at the mouth saying that's disgusting. But I just wish there was a little bit of that again.
Okay, I see where you're coming from, but I have to completely disagree.
Yeah, go ahead. That's
I think,
perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think, whilst I understand the situation in London and in other franchised bus, well, anywhere with franchised buses, you want to minimise the difference between operators as much as possible. London should be a Transport for London bus system. Whoever's contracted to run the buses doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like with the London Overground. It's technically run by Arriva, but the passenger doesn't need to know that, and they shouldn't know that. For them, it should be a TfL service, and it is fine, run by MTR. They don't know that. For them, it's just a TfL service. Should be the same with buses, in my opinion. I don't see why. Yeah, I don't see why, on a unified and integrated system, we need to add unnecessary complexity by throwing in operators who don't really mean anything. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, I do agree with that as well. My argument for that is that
we painted the seats a different colour on all the liveries, like in interiors, so look, come on.
No, I really hate that. That's one thing I hate about it.
Like, pick one or the other.
Yeah, why on earth do you let operators specify their own interiors? Why? What's the benefit? In Manchester, they've been doing it quite well. Well, yeah, I mean, we've also got to consider that in London, the interiors specified are almost all hideous. I don't know what they're going for. They look really...
They're terrible. Especially with the straight staircases, some of the seats upstairs on double-deckers. There's no folding seats because people don't know how folding seats work.
Yeah, it's really rubbish. But the London specified one, the TfL specified one's actually really stylish. I really like that red and gold. But, you know, somehow they haven't adopted it. In Manchester, they have. In Manchester, there is no logo at all displayed on the buses. It's just the B network. Same in the interior.
Surely they must have like a logo on the side, maybe? Do they have like...
Well, no. They've got the... Obviously, you know, when the little small print where they show what the depot is, it says where it's from, obviously. Okay. But there's no logo. It's just the B network, just TFGM.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I need to... When I can afford to go to Manchester, I should just have a look around it.
Yeah, so for the passenger, they've got no idea who's running the buses. Because it's all B network. And that's how it should be. Now, I do agree that there's not enough diversity in London liveries. But I think that should be resolved by TfL encouraging a bit more route branding, or maybe livery variations depending on the borough. Something like that.
Maybe.
And I don't think that should be an operator-specific variation.
No, that's a good way of looking at it, honestly. I didn't really think about it from that way. So, honestly, I'm going to still stick with it as my option. But I do 110% see where you're coming from. So let's see what your number 4 is then.
My number 4, it's an odd one perhaps. It's Fairsaver. Now, do you know Fairsaver?
I've seen one of their buses in the past, but know nothing else about them.
Yeah, so they're an independent. They're quite a large independent, and they operate around Chippenham and Wiltshire.
Oh, okay, that area.
Yeah, it's not the worst livery I've ever seen, but it's just drab. Fairsaver have the funds to do something better. They actually are reasonably good at branding, but those buses, they look rubbish. What's going on? It's just white, and they've added a purple stripe, and the stripe isn't even...
It's not even, no, because it's like it goes up a bit, and then it goes, oh wait, we didn't do it at the right angle. Go up.
What, were they drawing it in PowerPoint?
Or freehand.
To me it looks like they were drawing it in PowerPoint, but you know that tool where you can create a curve?
Oh yeah!
Click the buttons. And obviously the first time you do it, it looks terrible because it's not smooth. And then you go in and edit the points and smooth it out. Looks like they didn't do that and just left the curve and said, that's fine, let's put it on our buses. And then they've put this on their fleet of 100 buses or however many it is, and they've been doing this for 10 years and not updated it. It just looks rubbish. It looks bad. Yeah.
Oh, well. I mean, I can already tell by that interior, the image you shared me, that's an X-First bus. So,
yeah, it is.
That's already a bit of an interesting idea. But maybe, think of it like this, maybe they wanted to make the livery look better, but then the free trial of PowerPoint ran out. Come on. You're not thinking outside the box, mate.
We've got to be kind to our independents.
No, you don't. Of course you don't have to be kind. You can be as mean as you want. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
What are they going to do, sue you? They're independent.
They don't have money, yeah.
But honestly, I do agree. It does look very bland. I mean, the purple itself isn't bad, but honestly,
it's not attracting anyone to use the bus.
No,
you don't see that on the street and think I want to get on it. You think I want to do everything I can to avoid getting on that bus.
Indeed. Now let's jump into my number 3. Honestly, this one's not too shocking. I can't stand it. It's the new Stagecoach livery.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
It's one of the worst liveries I've ever seen. Certainly the worst from any big operator.
Definitely. The thing here is, if I was to define what is the most corporate-looking livery I could ever imagine for a vehicle, this is the first thing that comes to mind. And the original Stagecoach livery was great. I loved that. I loved it.
It aged really well.
Yeah.
Considering it's 20 years old, that's very impressive.
He exactly worked on trains and on buses. But obviously somebody who probably just passed GCSE art had another idea.
Not even that.
Oh come on, I'm trying to give them one bone, even if it's empty. Just one bone here. Yeah. The colours, the colours themselves, obviously they're a bit different to the original Stagecoach colours. They're now brighter, and there's just random green instead of
I think it's the yellow that looks random. The blue and green kind of are similar. The yellow just ruins it all.
Yeah.
Not that it was good to begin with.
No. It was definitely a bit of a scheme killer.
So interestingly, I'll just see if I can bring it up. They did have a sort of variant of it when they launched the new routes. Yeah, that was without the yellow.
Oh yeah.
Just use green. And interestingly, it looks a lot better.
That does.
It's still not good, but it looks better.
Honestly, I agree. That does look a little bit better. I would tolerate that a little bit more, even though, again, green wasn't on the original Stagecoach, so it's still having the issue of, hey, look at my branding. Knock it over. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
So it still has that same issue, but not as but the colours just aren't as offensively bad, I'd say, maybe? You can get away with that, perhaps?
They're better.
Definitely.
But
I don't
still.
like it. I really don't like it.
I hate this.
Horrible livery. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is, it's another independent, and I feel a bit bad picking on independents. You could pretty much choose any independent with a pretty terrible livery. But I've gone with Ebley Coaches.
Oh. Well, is this...
White.
Okay, when you say independent, is this like an independent is a small company, or is it just one guy running everything? Because that's what it looks like.
I don't know. I think it does have a few buses.
All right. Okay.
Ebley Coach. Yeah, it's got quite a few. They have a website. So that's something.
All right. Okay. That is a very Well, they definitely didn't spend that much on the deluxe paint. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I think that is Calibri. I think they just used the default font.
You know what? There is actually a way to find that out.
Oh.
Give me a sec.
How?
There's a font finding website.
Okay.
And I can
Well,
make
also, yeah, note the route number scrawled in
Oh.
pen.
I didn't notice that. It took me a while to. Well done. Let's jump. I'm gonna jump cut from now, and I'll show you what font it is. We did try and find the font, but I couldn't find it on the website. But we're guessing it's Calibri, right? That's our best guess.
Yeah, we think it's like perhaps a stretched, or sorry, compressed version of Calibri that's halfway between bold and normal, but it's clearly some Calibri derivative.
Yeah, probably. That's the best guess. That's we both have, because it just doesn't look like a well-designed well, it doesn't look like any
Design livery.
No, it's not even design. It's just it really does look like, you know, if the other ones we were talking about were with the trial of PowerPoint, this was done on MS Paint in 1,000 hours, and being generous with that, like 1,000 hours in Paint. And the guy paid him really well to do that, and obviously, yeah, that's just a really bland livery, if you could even call it that.
I think it maybe is a bit unfair, as it's not really a livery. It's just
No,
white.
it is white but there is text, so there was an attempt.
Yeah, there was an attempt. Okay.
So in that aspect,
number
we'll let
2.
you.
Yeah.
So my number 2, it's a first livery, surprisingly. But this is the best, or should I say least worst image I have of it. It's first Thamesway.
Oh yeah.
That.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't like that livery. I'm gonna take a stab and guess that it's obviously the colours of like the Thamesway area or borough. I don't think
It's
that
heritage livery, isn't it?
it might be a heritage livery of sorts. I don't know, and honestly, if it's related to Southend and or Basildon, I don't care either. I don't.
It's bad. Yeah.
It's bad. The colours just don't complement each other that well, and sort of similar to your Which Way livery, it is striking, but it doesn't
Not
make...
in a good way.
Not in a good way. But I don't think I've got much to add. It just looks horrible.
No, it's self-explanatory.
Yeah. Your number 2.
Yeah, my second worst is Stagecoach Local.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, it's a rubbish livery. I cannot believe that they got the commission for the design. Well, what was their brief? What did they say to the designers? Designers a really bad livery that undermines the brand, will get dirty very quickly, and just does not appeal at all. If that was the brief, then the designers did a very good job. But yeah, I mean, if that wasn't the brief, when they got the designs back, how on earth did the Stagecoach Board of Directors or whoever look at that and think, yeah, let's go ahead?
Well, I feel like we should know by now that corporate and everybody else below them are 2 different species of individuals and operate on... I feel like we can get away with saying that, as demonstrated many times in transportation and in fact every single industry. So I feel like that this is very possible to happen, and well, livery bad. I've said what I can say about it. It's my number 3 worst.
Yeah.
It should have been number 2, but unfortunately Thamesway exists.
Yeah, I don't. I think you're getting onto something there. It does show a real disconnect between the management and what passengers actually look for, and obviously the passengers don't necessarily care what colour the livery is. But for potential passengers, people in cars, people walking or whatever, who see the bus, it looks like Stagecoach has given up on trying to win over and has just gone for the cheapest possible livery to apply.
Well,
Or white with a bit of vinyl.
I know, it does. It just feels very... Yeah, and it just feels way too corporate, as I mentioned.
Yeah, there's no soul to it.
Indeed. So, my number 1... I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this, since I think you might have spoken about it earlier, but I'm sorry, I'm going to have to put this here. It's the new Green Line livery.
No.
It's that one.
I like it.
I think it sucks ass! Where's the green line? There's no green line! Hulk seat, no green line. Why is there purple at the back? Actually, I know why there's purple. I know why, because Heathrow was saying, oh, we want to show that this bus goes to Heathrow, even though it says right at the top of the display where the bus is going. But, my precious!
It looks like a first livery.
It does a bit, actually. Not even. Oh no, it's not even normal green. It's lime green, the best of greens.
That's not the new Green Line livery I was referring to though.
Oh,
What is it?
are you by any chance talking about the one that Reading buses have applied?
Yeah.
Okay, then that one's safe. That's fine. I ain't got
Yeah,
no
there you
issue
are.
with that
That
one.
one.
That's an excellent Green Line livery. I've got nothing wrong with that one. It's this Arriva Green Line livery I have a problem with, since Hulk see no green. Well, apart from the front. And there's no green line.
I can agree. I think there are worse liveries in existence.
Yeah.
I struggle to believe this is the worst livery ever.
Oh no, of course, yes.
But,
The thing is that I haven't seen every single bus livery, but when I think of bad bus liveries, this is the first thing that comes to my mind. And I also want to say, this is the better version, I want to say. Because, if I got, what's it called? Arriva also run the 757 coach service, which runs from London to Luton. But that's just me. Honestly, it's not a bad coach journey, coach service itself. That's not a problem. It's just a well, here is the. Oh, I almost used the wrong image. That's to show you how bad this livery is. Hang on. The Arriva Green Line livery applied to their coach looks like this. The new Green Line livery is this. Apologies, the image is a little bit blurry, but there you go.
Word.
See?
that's just, well, that's white.
Yeah, it's mostly white. I mean, if you look very carefully at the top, you can see a very faint green line. Just very faint. So, by that logic, it's technically better than this one, by that logic alone, but I don't want to say that. I don't want to say they're both garbage.
Yeah, they're rubbish. That is appalling.
There you go. There's my green line, What about yours? What's your least favourite?
My number 1, it's interesting. So, this is a bit surprising. It's a bit of a Lothian sandwich.
Oh.
Started with Lothian and we're now finishing with Lothian. This one is really pains your eyes. It's the Lothian Pride livery.
Oh, my eyes! Oh!
So we've seen how to do a Pride livery well, and this is how not to do a Pride livery. In fact, this is how not to do any livery. This should not exist. What on earth?
That's not a livery, that's just a spectrum! That's just a spectrum of light!
They just painted the colour spectrum on the bus.
Oh my goodness, what is this?
It's I saw on their Twitter feed, and if you are a Lothian in-house designer, I mean no disrespect, but what were you on when you made this? I saw it on their Twitter feed. They're like, oh, congratulations to our designers for designing this amazing livery. This was designed? It looks like they just dragged and dropped the spectrum of light onto a bus and then printed it. At the front too, they just have 2 inverse spectrum. It's
it sucks ass. That's all horrible. Oh man, that is. I didn't think anybody would dare to try and put a spectrum of colours on the bus like that. Is it the same on the back? Or is it just all blue? Oh, goodness. Couldn't do what? Well, yeah, that's by far the worst Pride livery I've ever seen. One of the worst liveries, full stop.
Yeah. Well, hence it's my number one worst bus livery in the UK.
The reason why I didn't put any Pride liveries on my list is because I didn't want to have to. I didn't want to have to search through so many of the same livery to try and find out which is the least worst. But
There are actually, I think, quite a lot of good Pride liveries. I can't remember who it was. There was some that did something really quite nice, but the problem is it is far too easy to make a lazy Pride livery, and that can look atrocious. For some reason, Lothian, though, they haven't even done that. They've gone out of their way to make the ugliest possible livery. I don't know what they've done.
you know what? That livery actually sort of reminds me of that paint. Have you seen that metallic paint that some people apply to their cars, where when you move your head, it changes colour? It sort of reminds me of that.
Yeah, the whole bus is actually grey. It's just
That would
in the rain.
Now that would be kind of cool if they did that. I would give it. That would be cool,
Yeah, it would.
but obviously that would cost a pretty penny to the Caledonian Mafia.